Hey guys, it's Tiffany. Oh god, I look like really rough today. So I have a question. And I don't know if this is something you guys could possibly help me with or not. Okay, essentially, where I stand right now is, based on my bariatric doctor, talking to my insurance coordinator and everything, they're thinking the first or second week of May is when I'll have surgery. My FMLA does not go into effect until like the very last week of May. It's actually like May 29th. Okay, I know some people are probably thinking like, well, why don't you just wait? But you have to be off more than 2 weeks for FMLA to even matter. So it's kind of pointless for me to wait. Well, work, I won't say they're necessarily causing issues, but they don't necessarily make it easy to be off, especially for any extended period of time. And I told them essentially that I'll be having surgery today, which I kind of mentioned it in passing, but not anything too serious, just because it's kind of hard when you don't have any set dates or anything. And so today I kind of mentioned it, and just to let her know again that I'll be having surgery in early May. And she seemed kind of put off by it, almost like short with me, which kind of pisses me off, I'm not going to lie. And then she said, well, I think you have to be here a year for your FMLA. And I said, okay, so what does that mean? She said, well, you'll have to talk to, she's talking about her boss, who will be in a little bit, because she's the one that deals with that stuff. So I was like, okay. So then when that boss came in later, I went and talked to her, and she was like, well, I think that you can eat, if you have 1,250 hours, you'll be good. And I was like, okay. And so I checked, and I sat pretty much my entire lunch adding my hours up through the last period of time I've been there. Well, I have like 1,500 hours, but lo and behold, that's not the case. I found the employee handbook. It says that you have to be there a year and have 1,250 hours. So that's pretty much meaning that my FMLA is not going to really be something I have to go based on. So being kind of frustrated and feeling, it was made very clear to me about 3 or 4 times that if I take a medical leave, which is not FMLA, but a medical leave, that my job is not guaranteed, and that it cannot inconvenience the center in any way. That's what I was told probably 3 or 4 times. So it's almost like a warning, I feel like, almost kind of like, hey, if you do this, you're probably not going to have a job, which is, I just don't feel like it's right. I think that almost like in a way they try to scare you into like not doing it, which pisses me off. And I'm kind of the kind of person that if you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to find 10 ways I can. And, and I'm big on finding laws, if it has to do with like legal things, finding laws that, show that I'm right. But I was frustrated because, I just felt like they were trying to scare me out of like going ahead with just a medical leave as opposed to FMLA. And the medical leave, would cover me, and then if for some reason I had to be off longer, it would just lead up into my FMLA, is what I was told by the HR today. So anyways, on my, at work today, I called the HR, the actual HR up out of like in Maryland or Massachusetts or something, and just to talk to them, because I wanted to get kind of like a unbiased opinion. And she pretty much seemed kind of aggravated that they were being so short with me. And she's like, if you've got to have surgery, you've got to have surgery. She was like, essentially, and I told her, I said, but my worry is that I take the medical leave, and they've made it very clear to me my job is not protected. If you take a medical leave, the only time your job is protected is if you take FMLA. And she said, she was like, honey, she said, usually within that medical leave, you are actually covered by, typically, depending on the circumstances, you would be covered by the Americans with Disabilities Act. And she said, I can't say for sure you would be. She said, but most cases, 99% of the time, you're covered with that. And she said, your job is protected in that case. And she said, so they can tell you that it's not protected, but if you fall within that category, your job is protected. And so I was like, okay. And she was extremely nice, extremely helpful. She emailed me the papers that I need, and then she told me if I had any questions to email her back. So I'm going to make sure I email her back, and I'm going to ask her about the Americans with Disabilities Act, just to make sure that my area falls in there, just so I feel safe. And I feel like I'm kind of stepping on toes, but at the same time, it's frustrating to know that I've came this far. And then when I called my boss at one point to ask her about the 1,250 hours versus just having that, or if I had to have both that and a year. And she was like, well, why can't you, sorry guys. She was like, why can't you wait till shutdown? Shutdown's not till July. Middle or I think it's the third week of July. Yeah, shutdown's the third week of July, meaning that she's expecting me to wait the beginning of May, up through June, and then up through the middle of July. So essentially, she's wanting me to wait about 2.5 months past from when I could actually have it to have it. And I told her no. I said I can't wait that long because I have to have the surgery within so many days of getting the approval from insurance, which she doesn't know what kind of surgery this is. They're not allowed to ask just because of HIPAA and stuff. But she, so she doesn't know if it's a detriment or not. But it kind of ticks me off because they don't know whether it's like a cancer thing or something, and then they're trying to tell you like you can't do it pretty much or guilt you out of it. But my question kind of was, has anybody else on here that watches this video maybe had issues with work and getting off because of maybe not being covered by FMLA or something? Because I'm trying to figure out if I'll be covered by the Americans with Disabilities Act for medical leave, not being FMLA. So if you know the answer to that, or if you know anybody that maybe does, or if you possibly know someone who's had the same issue and you know a little bit about it, I would really appreciate maybe you saying something, because I'm trying to figure out what to do right now, because part of me is like, I want to if I know for sure my job will be protected if I take a medical leave, I'm going to take a medical leave. Because either way, I'm not going to get pay. So if I know for sure my job's protected, I'm going to take a medical leave and then just do the surgery as soon as possible. If for some reason I found out that my job won't be protected, then I'm going to have to wait until the end of May, which granted is not forever, so I won't be too disappointed. It's going to kind of suck though if I have to wait an extra 3 or 4 weeks past the date, because of the fact that my work's not willing to work with me. But yeah. So if you possibly know the answer to that, if you've had trouble yourself maybe with your job, or somebody who has, and maybe a little bit about the Americans with Disabilities Act and whether someone who is impaired because of surgery counts within that, it would be greatly appreciated, guys. So I am going to go, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.